Well, hello everyone to Stitches and Coffee with Jurgita. So my name is Jurgita, as you might figure out, and I love coffee. So first of all, I want to say hello to all of you, those who's been with me from beginning of my channel, which is I don't know how many years ago. And also warm welcome hello to those of you who just perhaps stumbled upon this channel or somebody recommended you. But if somebody recommended you, let me know below who did, and so I can check them out in case I've never seen their videos. So I hope you'll enjoy watching this. This is going to be like a vlogging that I do little by little. Majority is going to be all about my stitching. There might be small amount of different other hobbies and tiny bit perhaps how my life is going in this month. So talking about coffee, since I love to try different types of coffee, and I got this in Michigan City, Indiana. I didn't know that they had their own like roasters. I might have to check it out next time I'm in there. But this is I picked their dark roast and in whole beans, because whole beans usually keep the flavor longer than grounded. And I have coffee grinder that I can do any size grind that I'd like, and I can tell you this dark roast is really dark. The smell itself is like a slightly burned coffee beans. If you like this something very strong or um, uh, really blackness kind of coffee, and it is pretty strong, so you don't need to put a lot to taste that. So I love this this brand. I want to try out some different roasts to compare to this dark one. So this is where I'm gonna start drinking this month, so we'll see how long it lasts for me, this bag. And let's go now to my stitching. And as usually I try to do is to start a month with my spoiler child. This piece, a full coverage pattern, is by Astra, and I have certain amount of stitches set for this piece to do a month. If I want to finish by the end of next year in 2025. So let's see where I am now and where I'm gonna continue. So this is what right now is in my viewing area. As you can see, there's still quite a bit to go to the end of the row, and this is what supposed to come out when we see next time. Let's move the light. So you see the bowl in here, and I did not finish the fabric below in this, so I'm gonna be working to finish this up. And then it's like from approximately like this area, continuing to do her arm, because you can see there's no wrist in there. So we'll see how long it takes me to stitch the area, and those are in the full crosses on a 16 count fabric. So I usually try to figure out the area approximately like 5 by maybe 4, so it's like about 2,000 stitches, and I go from the smallest, so like all the singles try to go, and then the colors or symbols that have 2 threads, perhaps two X's or 3, etc. And at the end I'll have just a couple colors that is gonna finish off, and it will be easier to fill in all those holes. So this is where I'm starting in March, and then I guess I'll come back to you once I've done the area that it's hopefully will be stitched more than I wanted to. So but we'll see. And it's March like a 2nd or 3rd, and I received my adjuster frames that I ordered. So these are I'm going to be using for my like a specialty stitches, Gay and Rogers pieces. And the shipping came from Canton, Michigan, by David and Kathy. And that was pretty quick answer back from email. I just had to send the email with the sizes I wanted and how many, and then they said we'll send the invoice once we ship it. So once we receive the the item, then we can pay for it. Although she wrote that because of the bigger size, one of the bigger sizes of the frames, shipping was more. So what I ordered in here is two full frames. One is 14 by 25 and another is 13 by 13 plus a toolkit. So before shipping, that was $66, and shipping was for me almost $47. And I live like southwest part of Illinois state. So it came in this oblong box, probably because of the sizes of the 25-inch frame, and it arrived quite fast. And let's see, it has like a separate things that says tools. I have not even opened yet, so let me not make noise. Pop it open, and then I'll show you what it includes in the tools. So what was in this bag was the tool itself that would help tighten some of the parts that I'll show you later. So it's just like this handle with a sort of roundish part. There were a couple cards that says adjust the frame. So this is pretty much what it would look like. And that's the prices. So as you see, there's increments. So if you need 9-inch, it still would be within that grouping. So that's what would be the price for just the two pieces. So it's like a horizontal, for example, you need, etc. So as it said, toolkit is best recommended to using an order first part when you never had it before, and then if you want order later on more frames, then you can just order frame sizes. You don't need a tool unless you want a couple of them. So it's made out of wood. So there's two cards like that, an envelope with the address. They take payment via Zelle, Venmo, or check. So since I don't have a Venmo or Zelle, I'll be sending a check in mail today. So this is what is a tool. So it's heavy metal base here and something like this. Let's see what's next. So a couple of them were like wrapped just in this bubble bag because they did not fit. So there's nothing else inside in here. So they just come like shrink wrapped. I'll have to undo that. And I heard a lot of good words about it, and we'll see how we put it together. So this is 13 and 13 inches. And then this should be probably the same. So each grouping is packaged separately. It says 13, so it's another pair, and it's unfinished wood, so feels like a pine, I guess, because it's very lightweight and kind of like I don't know what you call it, not the chips, but flakes that are usually are from that kind of wood. So those are 213s, and this is why it needed such a long box, because it's the 25-inch. It's not written down on this side at least, but I'm sure it's going to be like that. So you see the hole. So let me pull this out, all of it, and then we'll try to assemble. And this is a 14. So let me put together one of the frames and show you then hopefully how it works, if it's easy to put together or not. All right, I think I figured it out by just looking at that picture. So as you can see, there's all those areas are squared off, and there's a little bit space in between all the sides inside. So since I'm used to having like knobs for tightening on the outside, I have to figure out how to why it's going on something different. So I think the way I understood, it's also easier to put two and two together, like make one corner. So these parts gonna go like you see those holes so next to it, because once you start screwing this in, this thing is gonna push against it like that more. And I think this is supposed to be like here, perhaps, or against this part. So since I was trying to play with this, that came off. So just need to pay attention, I guess, to hold it in. Ooh, technical difficulties. So let's put it together. And it has to be like this. So just put it together side to side like that, press them. So make two frames and two, and then you just align those little holes and two, and just continue slowly pushing. And this is what looks like. So this is probably not perfectly square, so I'll need to double check how it looks, because some parts are not sticking out enough of the wood, so I might have to even out. I think it's a little bit crooked, but then you take this tool and you put in these things, and then once you start, you see it's coming out, so it tightens or loosens, and this is making more space in between. You see there's more room in here right now, so this is how you adjust to get a good nice size. This is getting better. So this is a frame. It looks a little wobbly, but once you put the tacks in with the piece, then I think it should be all good. So I'm gonna do the same with my big one, and then get the canvas and use the tacks and put it in, and then we'll see how it looks. And today is the 8th of March, which is International Women's Day. So, all of you ladies, I'd like to congratulate. I know for some is not an easy part to be a woman, especially nowadays with all those names and pronouns and stuff. But we're all women, so I hope you'll have today as a nice one. And as you can see, we're having some rainy day. So it's right now it's just drizzling, but it's gonna keep raining all day long. And I want to show you two weird circles that popped out in my yard here near neighbor's house. So I was curious if any of you know what it means. We've been living in this house for like 12 years, 11 years or something like that. And as far as we know, there's nothing been growing in those areas before. So that would be interesting to find out. We have not only that, but something else in the backyard. And that is this like a smile here going in there. And I know from a neighbors has been creeping and creeping closer this like a golf course grass, but the only way to get rid of it is pretty much just dig out or burn everything in that area, and then later replant or reseed it. But unless then those neighbors do that same, I don't think it will be possible. I mean, it looks nice when it's all nice and green. It's a grass, is short and soft, but when it's growing like this, it looks ugly. But I don't think you can tell by the state in here that they're not gonna be able to do that or afford to do that. So unless we pay for that, I guess. So yeah, so if you know more about these areas, I mean, we did not like a plant any seeded anything in there or stuff. We have a company coming in, and like last year they've been doing intensively getting rid of weeds, even though I like them. I know the dandelions are good and healthy, and clovers, bunnies loved here, but our neighborhood doesn't like that. So we had to go and clear it all out. So I don't know what those two eyes in this part means. So if you know, let me know in the comments below. All right, let's see what I've done on this piece. So let's move it over to the stitchy part. Ta-da! So as you can see, I finished the whole area. It's something over 4,000 stitches. So finished top, this fabric that he has in here, and his hand, boy's hand in here holding up to this chair or something in here, and the lady's hand with her like a skirt part. As you can see in here, this is the area that I've done, and up close those hands look like so patchy, so super dark, but when you look from further away, it gives a normal look. So this is where I ended for March, and this is what I've got so far this year, this beginning of the row, and much less left. So I'm good at going a little bit over my monthly stitching, and it took me quite a few days to work on this. I didn't have a lot of time, but wanted to finish, and I think some of the areas I'm seeing maybe that's where I ended my stitches, because I tried to end it up front, not in the back, so I might have to go with the thread and kind of push through some of those darkened parts, but I don't think you can see that well in here. And next time is going to be all about the lady concentrating her skirt over thing, and another hand like coming out in here. So it's not going to be anything very interesting later to see, like we'll see later on in there. But this is my March part, and it's done, and I'm very, very happy. So this is going to be waiting until April for the next part. So our two dresses and a dressing gown bag arrived, and look at the size of this thing. I mean, can two full-length dresses and a dressing bag fit in here? Let's wait and see. So I'm gonna start opening, and then I'll come back to show you. All right, so let's see. Let's finish cutting this bag so we can see how they packaged it. Whew. All right, that's where the address was. Okay, so FedEx delivered. So this is the like thick cloth bag, and is that the, okay, so that's a full length, like for a gown. All right, that's nice. All right, next is my gown in a packed bag like that, and it's my daughter's bridesmaid gown, squished very nicely, put in a bag, and it's like a zipper pouch here. So that's for her, and this is mine. We did it custom fit, so we're gonna try out today and see if they actually sewed according to our custom given size. Well, I just finished FFOing this piece, and as you can see by brochure, it's made by Hands-On Design, and it's part of a block party. So she has like a cats and dogs. I don't even remember what other, but I was thinking of getting cats and dogs too and donating that to the local shelter after I made it. But this piece is called Java. I love drinking coffee, so of course I have to get something. And today is getting in the late evening of March 8th, International Women's Day. And first of all, I want to again say, hope you all ladies had a good day. And if nobody else spoiled you, then you gave yourself some treat, either stitching wise or relaxation wise, or had little glass of wine or a nice coffee mug. to relax and watch something like a favorite YouTubers, Flosstubers, or shows, or just read a book. So anyway, I've decided it's good time to start something. So I've grabbed this magazine, which is this World of Cross Stitch. I don't know what year it is. It's something says in there, I guess. But anyway, this is what the front looks like, and I wanted to do like a, let's see where you see it, like these sparkly decks, I guess you could call it, those little ornaments, like it's shown in here. And they're I figured out, since they're so small, I can perhaps substitute some things, like instead of actual mill heel bead, I can use something different, that nobody would know that exactly that color had to be. So as you see, there's I pulled out pretty much everything that needs to have this done, and some substitutes for that are similar. So there's like a four different colors, color palettes, and for example, this red ruby color Krynic, and the beads, I don't know if I'm going to use like a mill hill bead like that, or a more matte color beads that I got, check beads in here. So I figured out I'll work once I'm stitching, I'll figure out. And then we have this green bright color, so there's like a mill hill beads, and I also have slightly different shades, like a stronger green in this, and light color in here, so that could be a little bit contrasting. So I might play around with those things. And the same with the golds, like between beads I have these are actually Miyuki Delicas, so I know they're going to be nice in regular mill hill. And threads, I have several different types. These are similar, but they're all same number. It's just how it's made. Like you can tell, this is very high glossy. In here, this one is just a blending filament, so I could use two of these versus like one. And then there is this like a royal blue color, and I have like four different types of beads. Those are like very similar. Then we have slightly different colors. So I didn't have exact Mill Hill color. So and I figured out that's fine. Even Krynic I can change if I wanted. Those are a little bit more in the purple here. So like I said, I'll figure out once I start working on these. And I'll be stitching on a 28 count of fabric, which I have plenty of. So we'll see how long it takes. Majority, as you can see, it's going to be all about beading. And just with the Krynic, there's going to be like a back stitching, I guess, mostly involved. So this is what I want to start. It was one of my this year's possible starts. So that's what I want to at least start today. So I've decided to start off with this as was first on the list to do in the patterns. So this is, I call it the green one, because as you can see, there's a lot of greens, so major that. And I was using bead sorter to help me out. And this is what I had done yesterday night. So I kind of started from the very middle, and then started branch off, and this is the edge of that, so kind of been going slowly. And I'm thinking that might be the only one that I do on the 28th count, because as you can see, the beads are kind of getting pushed against each other, so I had a harder time to fit in the where I needed to step the needle, so it was uh, taller than I wanted to, although it helped that the green and the red beads are more petite in here than my golden ones. So the only golden ones that are giving me trouble. But this is what I have right now. And I've decided to go with the regular check beads for those two, and just a mill hill. So as you can see, they're like that. Also to remember next time which beads I used instead of like all Mill Hills. So I think that's helping me stay in kind of shape instead of like spreading out. And I did not want to take out any of those extra beads because it's not enough in those squares too. So this is what it is. And maybe like a day at a time, I can just slowly build up all four parts, and then that will be done. But like I said, I might try then on a 25 count because that's the count that seems like for everyone. If you do beading work, that fits regular beads at least much better. So we'll see if I do this and then it looks good. I might continue because as you can see, I cut out for four different ornaments here part. So that's all I have for this new start, and it's fun and it's sparkle, so that's cute. And now I've decided that it's time to pull out my Chatelaine Baltic Sea Mandala, and that's about a similar time when I started. I started on the 10th of March, and now it's March 9th. So I figured out that I should do at least on its anniversary, right? So at least some days. So that's all I've done up to this point. In the past so far. So everything that you see in here is what I've done. And last year, I could say I've been just concentrating on this area and practically just working crosses, regular cross stitches. There's no specialty stitches in here right now put in or acrylic. So just regular DMC and some silk threads in here. So I think I'm just gonna continue what I can do within this frame, because as you can see, the other side is totally empty and waiting for that. Plus, middle is not fully done, so I still have plenty work in here to do, but just filling up slowly. One area versus another, and then there's going to be also some beads, some treasures involved, so there's still lots of work to do in here. But I've loved how it's turning out, like it is building. This is like a mossy look, and it looks amazing, and there's of course some like a quarter stitches involved. That's what makes it like arched windows in here in those areas. So we'll see. I'm planning to work at least for several days, so probably gonna see hopefully some improvement in this area at least. And I got the chance to work for like 4 or so days on this piece, so let's see what I managed to do it. So let's start here and pan out. So hopefully you can tell some differences. So first of all, I really was concentrating on this right side. So after doing some more stitches, I decided to go on and work on those specialty stitches. So you see some of the Algerian eyelets in here. And then there's different types of road stitches, like you can see in this area there. Also some going down here with the water, not paint, watercolor, I guess. And there's of course repetition in that side. Then we had those little fans over here going on, and then these were very interesting but very hard to see from further away. It was so many stitches, and it's like a two this way and a big one and then plus in the middle, but it's kind of hard to see unless you get very up close. Then also specialty stitches in here, and I actually decided to point them in a specific direction according to the house. So this one, each house is going to be like pointing from both sides outwards. I did the same thing to the top one in here. So the last one was from very corner to the corner. So this side is facing this way and this side is facing that way. And I started the same thing on this side, but since I can't reach the bottoms of two side houses, I left it out. So also you can see that I had those leaves done. And it was very interesting. It took me a bit to figure out, like especially because there's like a two connecting squares that I need to fill out. So maybe you can see like a tiny ones still left in the corner. In the beginning, I was doing like a regular, like each little simple X finishing and then cutting through the other one, but it was not looking very nicely. So figured out I'll do just the straight ones where I can, and then the tiny ones by half stitch I'll do this way. And I'm almost finished with the bird in here with the petite crosses, and same then I started filling in this area but did not finish. Also added some cryonic, as you can see, filling in like the boat area and all those kind of things. So then I also, after finished all the stitching and special the stitches, I decided to fill in with the back stitch. So as you can see, the windows are all done in here and continued. Then the balcony was here. So there's two colors of back stitching, and then I kind of stopped in here because there's going to be a little bit more to do, and I'll continue this way. So this border I try to do for all three sides that I could reach. So it's starting to kind of fill in. And also when I was looking at the pattern, I don't know if you guys ever stitch this piece, but I think the way the pattern is laid out and the picture, that the top one, I think by descriptions, is this one. So uh, the lady who redid for the cross stitch saga um, online pattern usage did it correctly, like this way, I believe. So since I started stitching by her pattern remake, that's the way I'm gonna do. But I think by recognition of descriptions that that's the way it's supposed to be the picture. So if you've done that, let me know in the comment below if that's the way it should be. That's not the one with the flag on the top or in this Martinez pattern, that it should be this one on the top. So I would be interested to find out, because I was trying to figure out all the descriptions, and of course not all the houses have saying, this stitch is gonna be in this color, and like especially for specialty stitches. So I'm very happy. I added quite a bit in here, and I went as far as I can up there, and kind of the only things left in here would be beads. I'm not gonna do beads, so all empty spots that you see in the border in here, there's gonna be some beads in that way. And kind of was hard to stop actually and set it aside to stitch, but other patterns, other whips already calling me, and I think next time I'll just continue finishing off this area and then moving maybe to the left, because there's still a lot of specialty stitches gonna be in here. There's like also on the edges supposed to be sort of like a butterfly. So I'm still trying to figure out what exactly is that stitch in there. And there's going to be shells, and so all of those empty spots, there's going to be specialty stitches and crabs and all kinds of things. So I'm very excited how it's turning out to be. Like I said, it was a little bit confusion which way the pattern is supposed to lay, and what exactly some stitches supposed to be. Is that because the Rhodes and Algerian stitches are very similar. It's just you don't have a hole in the middle kind of thing, so you have to go all the way across. So that's all I have to tell you right now about this month's chatelaine work. And it's evening of the March 13th, and we're starting to get the stormy out the window, so definitely not going for any walk. And I've decided it might be a good time to start something new, so that's what I pulled out. It's one of my projects to start for this year. and it's a Mill Hill kit, buttons and beads, and it's autumn series. So this is gonna be cappuccino, and I've already stitched this, and that was on a perforated paper, just like that. But I gifted that to a friend for a birthday. So since I had some beads left and the threads, I figured I might want to try one for myself because originally I bought it for myself, and I'll be buying another one. There's a latte and something else since I love coffee. Although cappuccino is slightly different, but I can drink this better than latte because turns out that I'm dairy intolerant. So the cappuccino is the only things that I can drink from a fruit drinks. And I know I'm not going to have that button anymore because, like I said, I already stitched this one, but I'm pretty sure I can figure something out. So instead of a perforated paper, I actually had this fabric that I dyed myself. It's 28 count Jobelin. It was white, and I dyed very quickly with coffee and tea. And you seeing here a little bit more washed out colors. It's a little bit browner in here, and just boiled some black tea bags with some instant coffee, and boiled for a little bit and poured out and threw in the dryer of my dryer, and this is the color I got. So I did not want to go with very dark one like this, even though it's showing, but I think it should be okay with a little bit lighter color. It's not going to be as dark background, and there are some threads that are a little bit similar, but they'll be surrounded by um, like those lighter ones by darker colors. So I think it should be fine. So since it was with the coffee also dyed fabric, I think that's fairly good to use it for it. And the size should be about a 5 by 5. So I had this fabric that is about 14 inches wide and like twice more. So if I do like a 7 by 7, I could fit two of them in a row. And I don't know if I'm gonna make it like this, or I can do like a poofy little bit part or out, or maybe make it into a little pillow or a flat fold. Not sure yet, but I'm giving myself about an inch extra off each side. So hopefully that will be plenty for things I want to do. So as you can see, this is what I had left in here, all those colors, and there's the Mill Hill. So if need be, I guess get more beads for that. But I want to start this, and I'm gonna probably go from the corner and fit in versus like go from a middle. Already marked a little bit corner in there, and it's all ready to go. And this is what I've got after a couple of days of stitching. So by the calculations, it's showing that it's just a bit less than 1/3 is done. So just a bit more than 2/3 are still left to do. And you can kind of already tell that the words are being left out in here, and you can read it cappuccino in here, and the steam rising and the coffee beans starting to pop out off to the sides like here. And what I've decided to do that technically it's supposed to be cross stitching with 3 threads of giving thread, but I've decided to grab two, and I think it's turning out fairly well. I mean, it's not like overpacked. That would be with 3 threads, but I think two is good, and a 28 count, and I think it might be also the fabric a tiny bit more shrunk in here, and I think the coverage is pretty good with two. So I'm gonna try and stitch everything what was in leftover pile after giving threads from the time that I did with 3, and see how much more left to grab it from my own stash. So far I ran out of 2 colors because you can see like there's quite a bit of finished in here, and we'll see how it goes next time. So after I do use all of that, I'll show you how much I was able to do with leftovers. And I guess if I was stitching first time with two, that might have been maybe enough to do two of them. I'm not sure, but this is what I have right now. So some of the empty spots, like in the words, is going to be all in the beads. And I think the fabric color is fairly good. It's still showing a little bit lighter than natural it is. And there's more to do, but you can kind of tell outline like the the cup in here, the handle in here. So that's where I'm gonna leave it for the next time. So maybe two, maximum three more times for a couple of days each time, and this will be done. So it's like easy relaxation piece. So I'm gonna leave the beading for the very last thing to do, and we'll see then how much of the beads I also run out. So that's what I have in my new start for cappuccino. And the next piece, I pulled out my second monthly work, and that I'm working each month. So there's certain minimum amount that I want to do, and my plan is to finish this year by mid year. But I'm thinking I might do it actually a little bit sooner because I've pushed myself past few months, and I have only partial row left, so I can start kicking in. Plus, it has way less thread colors in here. The pattern is called like Alien and Rowan, and the pattern I actually have is from Astram. So it's a bit smaller than Hade's pattern, which I also bought before this, and started working on a 14 count with four threads, half stitch stitching. I finished the first row like about this, started a little bit the second row, and then figured out by the time I would finish it, it would be ginormous, and maybe we would move later in a smaller house. So I need to shrink a bit the size of my piece, and not to stitch on the 14 count. So I restarted, and it's a bit smaller pattern size. So let's see what I have left. So everything you have marked here on the bottom is I drew the lines, and the very end is going to be this very end row. So this is what I have left. So it's not a lot. I don't think I can finish half of the row, but we'll see. Usually I do like 3 by 5 little squares at a time, fill in and then park. But since it's just over 3 in here, so 5 and then 5, that might be like it. We'll see how fast I can do it, but that would be so cool if I can finish by the end of April. But since I have wedding preparations and wedding in mid-April, so that might shorten my working time next month. So we'll see. But this is where I'm starting in March, and it's nothing interesting gonna be stitched in here. As you can see, it's the very bottom. Those red dots are where my threads are parked. So just her hair, lots of light colors in here, then the feathers kind of, and I don't know what this is. I guess that's like arm end of the coat, but that's where I'm gonna work mostly. It's gonna be her hair and a little bit maybe of the feather coat of his. So that's where I'm starting in March. And here we are. This is what I've done. So, as you can see, I worked quite a bit to get to this point in this month, and that's where we get. So, you can see her, I guess her hair waves are in there and more, and then it gets just his feather outfit in this way. And I think what's left is going to be just more of his feathered look for the outfit, and that's it. So I can't believe I have only like 3,000 stitches left, and I was kind of tempted to continue, but I've been working on that for quite a few days, and those darker colors now are kind of getting boring. So I want to grab something slightly different at least. And I just finished all the hanging threads in here that I had parked, and we'll finish it definitely next month. That's not a lot left to do, as you can see. And finally, after some years, this piece should be done. So it seems like it's very very easy to do in here, but there's still quite a lot of blends we're working with, and there's quite few that were sort of like a single groupings. And when you look like live, it seems like you just want to pick this up like it's 3D, these popping out in here. But yeah, that's what it looks like right now, and definitely we'll be seeing this finished in the next month. But I think I will set this aside, even though it's itching to be finished. But at the same time, I just don't want to see it all done. Since I worked for that so long, it became my friends. Yeah, I bet you would all agree on this too. Anyway, this is what I managed to do this month, and I'm very happy. And today is the 20th of March 2024, and I've decided this is as good time as any to start this new project. And it's by Golden Hands, and it's called, when you translate, a sparrow owl. And I've had, this is from like a golden series of these patterns, and I've had several of them stitch something similar, but without animals. I'll show you in a second. So I've stitched something like this, and these were done, let's see, 2021 this one, and 2016 this one. I loved how this one turned out, and I love both of them. And the owl is sort of in this grouping. You can see kind of shiny string, but sort of is in this grouping. And because of other ones, if I hang them all together, I think I'm gonna keep original fabric that came in this pattern, with this pattern. And it says that it's gonna be 28 colors, and the size is 22 by 42 centimeters. The typically looking package was like this, where they put a sticker, and once you peel off, you break the seal. And it says that the fabric that's included is a 16 count Zweigart fabric, DMC threads. There's a needle, and that was like stuck in there, and the pattern. So these are the threads, 28 colors that were marked in here, and you can see different colors and how much of what I'm gonna need to stitch. Like there's a lot of white, for example. So like before, I think I'm gonna have a little bit harder time to get those snowflakes scattered throughout, and snowdrops, but it should look amazing. It will have all kinds of a back stitching in case you can't figure out, especially those spiky areas in here. So that's what the sparrow owl, at least that's how it translates, should look like. And there's going to be like long stitches looking. I might do that as like a couching, to go long lines. But I put it on the frame, and already had it marked where the middle part is. So from up and or down is going to be where I'm going to stitch. So I'm going to start in the approximate central area and go up in here. And I don't know if I'm going to stitch like up going, or if I'm going to flip the frames, but this is what I want to start. Oh, and the artist is Natalia Pashkova, and you can see the number of the kit. So it's NP003 in Russian letters. So that's what I'm starting. The other two pieces been waiting for this to join the group. So I think that's enough time spent waiting, and I need to get this started. So here, that's what we have after working several days, and I work not only on this. So as you can see, I've stitched practically the whole thing of this. I don't know what are they called, those spiky ones that's filled with the snow. If you know the name, I'd like to know them. They're very spiky, if I remember correctly. And this little owl is getting some shape in here. So I stitched upside down the frame. I kind of started, this was on the top, and I tried to fill in. So let's look a little bit closer. There's some blends in here, and sometimes the same blends, for example, we're going in one way and in another half stitches. Also, for example, with B5200, I was stitching full cross with 3 threads, and next to that I had like with the 1 thread, so it's making look like a 3D in here. And I was kind of surprised to see this darker blue color, because in the sample picture, you don't see that much darkness in here, but this is where you can see more, and I try to double check, make sure that that's the color. So again, there's quite a bit of like a half stitches and then full stitches. And as you can see, here is also mixed in a full cross with the full stitch, a half cross, um, I mean, full cross with 1 stitch, half cross with the one thread, and then next to it would be 2 threads full cross. So it's all kinds of mixed in stuff. And I thought about doing backstitching in here before moving on to owl, but then figured out there's a lot of backstitching, and I'm gonna be doing those straight like a couching instead of straight stitch like that, or a backstitch. So I think I might stitch the whole thing, wash it, and then do all of the special long stitches, because I'm afraid that even though this is a fabric, that it shouldn't shrink, but it might shrink tiny bit, and all those long stitches might look wobbly. So I might leave all of the back stitching for later. I know it's going to be a little bit harder again to put on the frame and stuff like that, but I think the outcome should be better. And I did not play around yet with those loose like a snowflakes falling in here. I'll do that sometime later. Right now, that's, I just wanted to kind of concentrate in one area and then go up, and like this owl outcome, you see stitches going one way and other way, and it's all done with one type of blend, so one of each of 2 colors. And so we're getting like his or her like feathers, spiky parts going in all directions. So this is what I'm gonna leave it with, and it's about almost like 14%, I think, done of the whole thing. So I'm very happy with how it turned out. So far, I'm sure this blue is not gonna be as popping once I start stitching the rest of it, and there will be the back stitching done. And I'm just happy that I started. Its friends been waiting for it, and we'll see when I pull her out next what I'm gonna work with. And probably just gonna concentrate on the owl first, and then go up in there, because I've been trying to kind of finish off the thread where I could. It's like this light color still has to be a little bit here with the several different colors, and then it goes all the way down. And I did not want to, especially do if there's a blend, to just put a couple of stitches and then find a way to tire up those blends. So that's my planned new start for this year, and this is what it looks like. And today is the 22nd of March, so I've decided tonight is good time as any to start something new again from my planned list, and that would be like a pageant kings, it's called, by I don't think it exactly tells you who it's made by, but this is what it says. So I got the fabric that it was called for, but as you can see, this looks a little bit more purplish actually than what's in here. So I'm hoping that that is supposed to be like that color, denim blue. Um, here, denim blue Joblin even weave, as it said, to get. So I got this fat quarter, and it seems like tiny bit more was left, so cut off. Perhaps I will do some kind of ornament out of this or what, but hopefully the picture itself was lightened up, and this is what is gonna look, and might look even better, especially those areas where it's lighter, hopefully. So I'm gonna start stitching this and try and see. And the pattern is pretty big. It's 176 by 225 in height, so that would make about on a 28 count over 2, about 18 and a half inches wide, tall by 16 inches wide. And in total, it would be about 41 and a half thousand stitches. I calculated, tried to count, and it was about 78 pure colors, 20 blends. It will have a full stitch, half stitch, back stitch, satin stitch, straight stitch, couching. It will have a diamond double, upright cross stitch, French knots. There's going to be some seed beads, bugle beads, cryonic blending filament, braid, and cable. So lots of different things. So lots of back stitching will have to be done. Like everything is pretty much outlined and plus more. But there's cute details. You can tell where the beads are gonna be. And I actually thought about just stitching everything and leaving backstage later, because all those nice straight stitches would have to look nice and straight. But decided I'll try, and I ran this fabric with tiny bit of like a soap under hot water and rinse in the cold through. It was thrown in the dryer to dry a little bit and finished with the iron. So hopefully this fabric is not going to be shrinking again, so I can safely do all the back stitching, straight stitching as needed. So I can work and do all the back stitching, because as you can see, there's going to be tons and tons. So I wanted to make sure that fabric is not going to shrink after I wash it, and all those straight lines would look wonky. So I ran out of my homemade frames, and I don't want to make more. So just grab my Q-snap, marked where the middle is, because it seems like I was counting fabric before washing, and it was like either 27, 29 stitches. So maybe I was just miscounting, but it's about 28. So I'm gonna, for the safety, just to be safe, I'm gonna start from the middle, and that's gonna be like around here, I think. So I'm gonna be working, probably go like this way so I can reach the corner, because I usually like to stitch on the left top corner, and then we'll see. So the side's gonna be boring to stitch. Those three gifts could be made as a separate pieces even, and attached to that if I wanted to make, but I'm not gonna make myself do extra work. So that's what I want to start. Need to pull out some threads and put in at least the starting stitches in this piece. And this is what I've been able to do. Not a lot, but the start is done. And actually this blue, I had to do like a 3 of this blending filament, plus 1 thread of similar color of the blue. But especially in the dark, it was shining like a crazy. And once it was starting to be surrounded by other threads, like in here, it loses some of that sparkle. So but interestingly, that some of the threads excess are stitched with 3 threads, like a regular threads, and then we have a high luster blending filament, 3 of, and plus regular 1, so that's like a 4. So there's going to be all kinds of, especially in the blend, seems like different, like a 2 on 1, 3 on 1. So I'm curious to see how it's going to turn out, but with 3 threads, it's really poofy, so I have to kind of watch out the tension and pay attention to that. But this is a central king's outfit starting out, so I went as far as I can, like in my frame right now, because I'm going up. So this is my start of the pageant kings. So far I like it. So today is 23rd. 3rd of March of 2024. And I think it's a good time to start this Just Nan's Christmas Elegance piece. I've got it as like a pattern with the like extra beads, embellishments in there, all the stuff that I need. And then I started collecting needed supplies. I did not add any DMCs in here yet. I'll just grab it from a stash as needed. And I chose some substitutes. So some of them are as cold. There is like a DMC cotton pearl, um, number 8, 2 colors. Then we have soie d'Alger, a couple colors. I have silk moire acrylic since I had that big package I bought as a sample stash. Then we have these silk threads. Over soie 103, and then we had these number 4 Krynics. Both of them are number 4, yes. So that's like main things. I've like I said, I've changed some, so I tried to compare the colors to what was suggested, and that's what I came up. I was looking at the pictures where it's gonna go, so I think it should look well. If not, I'll change again. But originally, this was suggested to stitch on light mocha, cashel, or different color, and I chose this Winter Moon by Needle Blink Designs, and it's going to be 28 count as suggested, just to make sure that all the stitches look nice, especially when I'm going to be using this number 8 thread. So the pattern should be about 71 stitches wide by 181 long. So I cut the fabric. I already put on my homemade frame, and it's all ready to start. And I'm gonna start from the very middle here and go with the light colors this area. So those are like a separate bands that I can do and change if I want to something. So it's good way to use up the colors. For example, I don't have to use only in here, but nothing else, so I can change it. So it's good to use up what you have. That's what I'm doing. And I'm just gonna kick in the start. I'm not gonna finish right away. I'll enjoy it, and beautiful, beautiful design. So we'll see how it's gonna turn out for me, and you'll see all the progress I'm making on it. And this is how much I've done in one day. Just started working more, concentrating on the first band, so it's almost done, just some beads left to do. So let's look up close. I used the perle white, I used the regular thread DMC white. Then, as you can see, some of the sparkle in the Krynic showing up, and then it was beading. So it's almost like a white on white work. And what I've done, I don't know if it's different or not, but when I had to do these road stitches, I was turning them in a certain way, directionally, so the like a last stitch would be going different ways versus it's always in the same pointed way, because it started like this, and then I turned the pattern for road stitch around, so it got this way, and the last one that and that, and the same was on this side. So this is what it looks like. It's amazing. These tiny 2 millimeter beads, they're slightly varying in color, so there's gonna be few shades differences, but this is gonna go around and continue here, so it's not fully done first band, but that's the only thing left. And I am attaching beads with the regular DMC thread as suggested by designer, instead of using like a invisible thread. So I've decided to try out it this way, and it's almost like a fabric color, but slightly different, darker, and you can't see it anyway. So trying to do all of that, and it's looking so far amazingly. So can't wait to see what it's going to be looking as finished. as she was saying that if you're using like all the silk threads that were suggested, it would give a sparkle and shine and be as like an inheritance piece. But I'm kind of simplifying some parts of it, so it's not going to be super shiny because not all thread's going to be shining as a silk, but that's what it looks like, and can't wait to grab it again some other time. And next, I'd like to pull out my this piece, which is from January 13, Cross Stitch and Needlework magazine. So this is the guy, which is called Leonardo Noel, designer Janelle Geese. And as you can see, there's going to be what looks like a lot of the just like a black work. And I think it also is going to be using like a cranic or thing stitches like that for it. And this border is gonna take a while for me to stitch. It's with one thread, and it's not the typical axis in here, so there's gonna be a lot of work in there. And let's see where I'm gonna start, because I believe I've had only once this. When I started last year, I started in on September 25th, 2023, and it will have a DMC Chronic Whisper thread. So it will have cross stitch blends, French knot, back stitch, and specialty stitches. Stitching on 28 count tea-dyed Monaco fabric, and stitch count is 72 by 118. So that's technical things. So as you can see, I've started from the middle and concentrated on working on him, and then tried to go in and start on the border. And little bit I've done on this interesting border stitches. So as you can see, it's like intertwining threads of two different colors and going like that. So make sure figure out which one is going to go on top, which is on the bottom. And of course, grinding is going all around, and there's going to be some motifs in here and partially done in the middle. And you can see sparkles on his outfit. So there's still, of course, the back stitching going to be on him and lots of other things. So this is where I'm starting. My hope is to finish it this year. So the more I can do now, the less it will be left to finish. So I'm starting right now, and I'll work maybe 1 or 2 days on this, and then I'll come back to show you what I've managed to accomplish. All right, let's see what I've done in 3 days. So this is what it should look like as whole piece, and I've done this much. So practically no excess were made, only half stitches and a quarter stitches. So this line is going to continue go up and around, so it's going to be slight border, sort of like we see in here, this kind of border. But I wanted to do those excess with the cryining, but it turns out I ran out of it and did not order in time, so I'm going to have to wait and do this. Then I've decided, all right, I'll do these halves because as you can see, these are also like a black work type done. I have to do everywhere, and it goes over some of those small partial stitches, and turns out that this line is made all out of like a quarter stitches. So even though it looks like a half, but when you look up close, it's all quarter stitches. So I've done all around the framing and in here, and then went up, and some of the parts, especially like around the corners, there were some two, some one only. So I keep going, and the same thing is in here. Those are done with the quarter stitches instead of like a full half, and this is more way more time consuming and in here than I thought it would be. And then once I've done all those quarter stitches, I've decided to start filling in this pattern that I also had to watch, because as you can see, it goes over those quarter stitches, and how to hitting here, and then there's also sort of like a outlining in these areas by the gold line around. And I'm almost done with this, but decided it's good as any time to stop and continue, I guess, the next time. And then I'll fill in later like a beard with the whisper thread in here and continue all of that. But that's what I've been just working with this. And as you can see, this border, it's gonna continue like intertwining all around. So there's gonna be at least there half stitches, not the quarter stitches. But this is what my Leonardo looks right now. And hopefully it's not going to be as humongous. So what you see in this, I actually could leave it like that if I wanted to, but there's, I think, with some type of cryonic also are gonna have those little like a diamonds and connectors in here too, if you compare this and this part. So I think this is more busier, sort of like mosaic looking more than this one. And the bird, nothing else was outlined, no back stitching done except those quarter stitches, half stitches, and this black work piece. So compare side to side. This is what I have, and was very happy to figure out that I might actually not need to move any frame scroll, and just fit everything in here. So quite a few more times I was gonna need it for this work. That no wonder it was marked, I think, either 4 out of 5 stars or something for the complexity, I guess. So yeah, that's what it's looking, and so far it's looking great, and I'm happy that I managed to work on this for those 3 days. And today's still March, end of March of 2024. And I've decided I want to start this piece, which is part of my this year's new starts, like once a month, interesting style. And as you can see, there's gonna be lots of various hardanger parts and satin stitches, back stitching, and majority is hardanger. So if you're familiar with cross and patch designs by Amy Bishop, this is pattern number 119, and this is what should look like. So this pamphlet shows also like another side a little bit more up close how it's gonna look on the bottom, and you can pull out also like a smaller different parts and stitch something totally different. That would be just like a hardanger or just like a satin stitch. These like a tulip flowers you can see in here, and a little bit cross stitching around, and have something like this, maybe like a tablecloth or something similar. So this is the fabric I'm going to be using, and that's the length I needed. So let me just turn perhaps this way. I marked like where the middle is supposed to be and where I'm gonna start. This is very middle and the very top, and I'm gonna be starting on working on the hardanger. Let me move the light on the hardanger part. So this is the part I'm going to be working first. So the fabric I got is 20, as recommended, 28th count. And I got this as antique ivory cassia linen, and just got a piece. So design area is 124 by 229, and this is the size in inches on the 28th count. I've got different threads, so it tells you row by row how to do some things like this area, and then later how to cut it. But it will need to have different types of fibers. So I'll introduce to you in a second. But I thought that this fabric would pop out more those lighter color threads that we have in here, and it hopefully it will look much better than this. Looks kind of washed out, and it shouldn't be like this. So let me pull out the threads and show what are more different ones than just the regular DMC. All right, so what I liked in the pattern that you can choose, so the stitches that you'll need to do some like a specialty stitches and things, then it's included in the list that you can use DMC or anchor threads or even like a codes, which I imagine is a JP codes. Um, so it tells you which threads to use versus just on the one and then list it up. And this the model was stitched on a cream Belfast linen, but like I said, I wanted to have the pattern stand out a little bit more, especially with light colors. So when I was speaking about light colors, so you can see that they're sticking out a little bit more than blending in. I did not want to fully blend in, so we'll need ecru number 8 and 12 cotton pearl or pearl cotton threads. Then I don't think I've ever stitched with the floss. It's also acro, but floss I think, not flochet called this kind of thread, and it looks kind of silky, but it's not a silky feeling. But it goes with the like a one thread like this, and you can see that. I think I might have to stitch with one, but I have not checked yet. But it's also ecru color, and from a special threads, it's gonna be Karen Wildflowers. This one, and again, this gonna be used with that one thread, and I think it's might be used for like flowers around as we saw, and there's going to be all kinds of different stitches like polystrina knot, rice stitch, and all kinds of other different ones that it shows in the back of a pamphlet how to do different like webs, even satin stitch, how to do cotton fabrics, and here's polystrina knot. So all explanations of different stitches are shown in the back of this pamphlet. But these are specialties, and I'm going to be pulling out just for a regular stitching just these DMC threads, and I'm all ready to go. So I need to put this in the frame and start. And I'll be reading instructions row by row. So this is like I think row 1, and just working all of this and then go next. And let's see, the words say cherish yesterday, dream tomorrow, live today. And that's all for wordings. So we'll see how those words are they sticking out or not on this darker fabric. And this is what I've got. So it's just seems like going some shapes and doing stuff, but there's going to be things filled inside of all of these. So just decided to work right now on the outlines with a one number 8 pearl cotton thread, and kept going in there. And good thing it reminded me that should not go like across things. So just I was tucking behind around all the things if I wanted to go in there, and that was the reason. Why it sometimes it shows in the back if you go across it, so had to remember about that. And this is of course not done, but I don't know, more than half maybe of this finished in one day, and that's a good start. It was fairly easy to do. It's repeating amounts. It's just to remember which way to go next. That was the one challenging part so far. So this is where I'm going to leave this piece, and we'll see how it's going to turn out the next time. But so far, I'm happy that I've started, and satisfied my thirst for starting working at a hardinger piece. So that's that with this. And as usual, at the end of the month, I'm trying to work more on the My Girl Ghost free pattern by Anayaki. I don't know if you're not on Russian what you call that like social website, if you would be able to find anywhere else this pattern. I know somebody was asking about it. It's very big. First of all, I want to warn you, if you find it online anywhere, it's 700 by 580, and she did not do any pattern cleanup which means there might be some stitches that didn't have to be there, like singles and things like that. But I fell in love with the picture and nobody else done this, and decided to work on that. So I'm working on a 25 count Lucas fabric that's pre-gridded. And if I want to finish this row, then in 3 years, then I have to do each month about 3,500 stitches, and I'm doing it as a half stitch. So as you can see, this is background. It was not very difficult to do. Just of course there was some single stitches in areas, and when the hair started, then it was more going on. But we're going and to the right, and this is where the girls like a hairpiece, and then face is gonna start in here. So we see kind of outline starting of this hair. So face would be somewhere like here, and the neck. So just gonna continue, keep going to the right, and we'll see. Probably gonna do some of the back stitching and then work continuously on the hair. And I left this part because that's where the butterflies are, and so some of those stitches gonna be in here, like a lot of singles to fit in this area, and then they're going to continue there, so I might just leave it and then continue in that area. And I'm trying to also the method of no parking in here, so those are the only parking threads that are left, and slowly getting rid of them. So I'm trying to stitch the thread until it's all finished, or in the area is nothing to stitch, and I'm sort of going by the area and working in that. So we'll see how much I'll be able to do in what 3 days, last one's left. So wish me luck, and if I don't make it, I don't make it, but that's okay. As long as I can continue working on this piece. So here is what I've got. Only about a half what I wanted to throw these days, but I'm happy at least to make this. So been slowly filling this area with the dark ones, and finished some of those loose threads. Still have a little bit parking left, but that's going to be some time later. And sadly I'll have to catch up, I hope next month or so, because like I said, I did only about half of what I needed to do for the month, but better little bit than nothing, at least in that month. So this is where I'm gonna leave my girl ghost, and I hope we'll see it again next month. And that's it for this month. It's about to be April 1st and Easter here, and we just had Easter weekend, celebrated and had a dinner with the family, had a fun time playing all kinds of table games. So cooked a lot, ate a lot, played a lot, chatted a lot. So that's all great. And I hope that March is going to be even more fun with all kinds of things happening, and probably not going to be a lot of stitching, but you can always hope to do at least something. So that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video, and let me know in the comments below what you thought of any of those projects, especially new ones. What do you think? If you see anything that you want to comment, put it in the comments below. So until the next time, this was Jurgita saying bye-bye. Ate.